webinar program organized by Momentum Nata Coaching Center and Nata Coaching Center. And then I welcome you all. I'm seriously I seriously appreciate your effort to participate in such a webinar program to know more about your future career option. I welcome you all once again, and then I hope you'll get some sense of clarity on your on architecture and architecture schooling. So, getting to the session, this Architecture 101 design program is going to be a 3-session webinar program where the first session, which is today, is to be an architect, which is where I'll be giving you a brief intro and orientation towards architecture and what all it takes to be in an architecture school and the process and progress um, towards enrolling yourself into an architecture school. And then after all, joining architecture schooling is the first step of to be an architect, what all it takes to be an architect. And then your second session is going to be like becoming an architect, where you will be like briefly explained about what are all the experience you go as an architecture student you will be experiencing, and then what kind of subjects you will be learning, and also what kind of experience you'll be gaining from the architecture school, and the overall the 5 years course of time of the VR course will be explained in the later second session. And then the third session is about I am an architect, where you will get to know about what is architecture profession is all about, and your career options, and then your role of an architect after you pass out, and after as soon as you pass out, what all you have to do. So such information will be given in the third session. So I request you to attend all the 3 sessions to have better clarity on architecture and architecture course. So coming to today's session, I just list down a few of the basic questions you all will be having about architecture. So as you are all just 12th passed out students who are not much of aware of what kind of profession this is, and then what is architecture and who is an architect, and what is the difference between architect and other similar professions, and then what is the role and then importance of architecture and architect in this society. And also I'm going to later on I'll be going to introduce you towards more famous architects and their works to get you inspired. And then later on at the end of the session, I'll be giving a step-by-step process of how to be and what all it takes to be an architect, and what are the steps to be an architect on the first place. So let's just jump into our session today. So yeah, the first and foremost question I guess you all will be having is, what is actually architecture is? As simple as say that everyone will be, architecture means building, constructing building. Other than that, we can define architecture as an architecture is an art and a science of designing, planning, and constructing a physical space in or around an ecosystem, or sometimes creating an ecosystem itself, considering its need, necessity, and also challenges. Uh, so, and then the profession itself. Who is an architect? Is someone an architect on a first hand is architecture is an art form. So an architect is an artist by himself on the first hand, and then a professional who resolves spatial requirement problems. In the process of resolving it, he designs, he plans, and then manages in executing the problem of execution, as in the rough construction. An architect is someone who not only design beautiful homes or do beautiful interior designing to the homes, or design retail shops, or bigger institutional buildings such as colleges or hospitals, or even multi-story skyscrapers alone. And an architect is not only a architect who willing to master in landscaping. Landscaping is not just a landscaping considered alone, and also an architect who mastered in urban planning, who contribute himself in uh, developing the infrastructure of the city or even nation, is not the only job. An architect is also a furniture designer, that is resolving the minimum space requirement solution, which is sitting. So an architect designs the smallest spaces, designs in smaller spaces to the largest spaces, largest macro level. In macro level, if you consider even town planning, city planning scale. So all these are done by architect himself. And then these are like other fields, other specializations field in architecture, as in like landscape architecture or even like urban planning or all other extension of mastering the course of architecture. And then everyone will be having this very silly questions of what is the difference between an architect and a civil engineer. An architect designs a building and also he executed, and also a civil engineer will design will draw the plans, and also he will execute the building. But the major difference between these two is the education. The architecture is a 5-year bachelor degree program, and also civil engineering is a 4-year bachelor program, as same as other engineering courses. But the main difference is in architecture, a problem requirement solving is thought to resolve in a more artistical, more logical, and more sentimental way. Wherein in civil engineering they were taught in a more of an technical aspect alone. So, for example, if a building is constructed, if a residence or a home is asked to be designed by an architect will spend some time with the client, understanding his needs, his likes, his dislikes, and his future planning, and then understanding about his culture. With all his understanding, with his design thinking, and then it's with his design ideology, he tries to provide a perfect home for the uh, client. Whereas a civil engineer will be the one of the very initial question by most of the civil engineer will be how much square feet of the build-up area has to be constructed, or how many rooms has to be constructed, and what is the budget. Was the only consideration of a civil engineer. Uh, so as I say that civilian is more of an on-site technician, and architect is someone who manages the overall who design and plan, and then manages the overall process of executing his idea into life. And then and then the other similar profession, as in like interior designing or civil engineer, or structural engineering, are all of connected professionals. Whereas an architect, uh, as in like a client actually hires an architect, and then narrate his requirements of designing any building of his requirement. And then all other technician, as in such as civil engineer, painter, plumber, fabricator, structural engineer, carpenter, electrician, mason, contractor, uh, who are all other technicians who are involved in the process of construction also. So architecture is not a one man's job. It's a collective effort, and then a job of uh, all these technicians uh, working towards the vision of the architect. So to be very simple, to say it very simple, an architecture, you can relate architect to a cinema, wherein the role of a director in a cinema is equal to that of a role of architect. architect himself. Uh, so, so I think you will be getting to know about like how an architect would be managing and coordinating with all other technicians to make the building get executed. So the next, importantly, I just want to tell you what is the role and importance of architecture in a society. So if you like get back to prehistoric or even historic times, um, that as you know, architecture is one of the ancient, one of the first profession to come to existence. And then during centuries back, these architects during those times have constructed these monumental cityscapes as well as buildings, which are now just the remains. With all these remains now, we with only with all these remains now we get to know about the culture, the history, as well as the lifestyle, or else about our ancestors. We get to know only, we get to know all this only through the remains of these architectural marvels, which was constructed like around 3,000, 4,000 years ago. As in case of like Mohenjo-daro or in Egypt, or the temples of India, or in case of Roman basilicas, and then atria, and then colosseums. What I say is architecture is a first evidence of history. So whatever was constructed like centuries ago, become a history, and then we still talk about these buildings even now. So whatever you are construct as an architect, whatever you're constructing now will be spoken and will be in the books of history even after our lives, for centuries to come. So that's how important, important this particular profession is. And then every possible profession out there is quotidian life, enjoying the pursuit of happiness for all the walks of life, which requires a roof or a bedrock above you, the quintessence of which is provided only by architecture. What I mean is, the basic requirement of a human being is air, water, shelter, air, water, food, and then shelter. In this, the first three things are obtained, we get naturally, but the shelter, but during Stone Age time, people did live inside a cave and then over the top of a tree. But we won't do that right now. Right now, to have a roof above you, whether if it's your home or whatever profession you are in, as in if you are a doctor, hospital has to be constructed on the beforehand before you start practicing. So, understanding your requirements, an architect has to design a hospital, or if it's going to be you're an architecture student, you want to learn architecture, you have an architecture college has to be built in on the first place to study architecture. So whatever the profession, or if it's home, an architect will be involved in the genesis of that particular time, so that after from his creation, understanding your requirements, your needs, the his design will help you to function your needs. And then architecture as so that's how important architecture or architect is. So that an architecture is not someone who just design. So to construct a building which comprises of only three elements, which is walls, roof, floors, and then possibly and then openings. Anyone can build all these walls and floors and roof, but an architect design these spaces in such a way to to give an experience to the users, so such that an architect is someone who uh, uh, from his ideas and ideologies all these buildings get executed. And then architecture as power and identity. And architecture was always be as a symbolism of power, or an architect is always an identity or an icon. So as soon as you think about a place or a nation or a country or a city, you get to remember the first and foremost thing which will be popping up in your head is the most monumental building, most beautiful building in that particular place. So as soon as you think about Malaysia, you will automatically what remembers in your head is the Petronas Twin Tower. And similar that as soon as you think about Dubai, you don't get to remember the desert or camel anymore. You just something what pop in your head is the Burj Khalifa or Al Burj buildings, which are built right now in Dubai. And similarly, if you think about Chennai, as what something pops in your head is the uh, obviously the railway station, the central railway station. So similar to that, an architecture will whatever building you design, which will remain iconic or will remain as a identity identity to the place which is built, which is built. So that important this profession is. And then as a symbolism of power, even in the early ages, the kings built built temples or palaces, or even for to celebrate their victory, to celebrate their wealth. So even now, if it's at a state or if it's state or a country, the government uh, focuses on keen on their infrastructure development to showcase their wealth or even their development if it's going to be a national scale or even if it's in a state level scale. So buildings such as Parliament or the Rashtrapati Bhavan, or in case of Nations capital or the Pentagon, or all the symbolism of power. So being an architect, you get to build all these powerful buildings, which will remain as a symbol for a nation or a state. So that important this profession is actually. And then today is the future. Your future is what you create. You're creating today. So talking about future, most of developed countries are already in conceptualizing their vision towards their cities for 2050. So all these images you see or images of cities, how it going to be in your future. So you, as an architect, you get to be in the part of your future development of your nation or your city. So that's how important an architecture profession is. And then talking about future cities, future cities or post-apocalypse city, the cities underneath water or the floating cities are all in conceptualization right now. And not only architecture is bounded to Earth alone, as a planet alone, due to the most recent development in outer space, outer exploration, the moonception, colonizing moon and as well as Mars are also in discussion. Right now. Most of there are competitions and as well as hypotheses are going on in discussion with these projects in outer space as well. So you as an architect, you are involved in all this process of envisioning your future, how your future is going to be, how your future generation is going to be, which all will be taught by you today itself. So that's how important this architecture course and as an architect you are. And every profession is all about recognition. You work towards a profession for the sake of a recognition, and then to understand, and then as in like in cinema, I think like in cinema, Oscar is one of the valuable, one of the higher uh, award, and then Nobel Prize is the highest honorary award for your contribution to science or in other respective fields. Similarly, in architecture, Pritzker Architecture Prize is equal to that of Nobel Prize in architecture. So this is the highest honorary prize for an architect that each and every architect out there is working towards. I just mentioned all this uh, to get you inspired in architecture and taking up uh, architecture course, architecture as your profession, future profession. And so right now, with all ending with what about the role and the importance of architecture, I'm just going to introduce you to few of very famous architects and their works, so that you might be interested in reaching out to their projects and then knowing more about it. So the first and foremost architect is Frank Lloyd Wright, who is considered to be the greatest of the great architect. He was an influential figure during his times, after his times, or even till now. His buildings were iconic, so that people even follow his principles, architecture his principles, and such a one of iconic building of his is this Falling Waters, and then others his projects were this Guggenheim Museum, and then Robbie House, and then this particular concept is conceptualization of Summit in Sugarloaf Mountain. And next architect is Le Corbusier. One of his famous building is Colline Notre Dame Church. Notre Dame Church. He is well known for his minimalistic, rustic finishes, natural finishes in his buildings. And Villa Savoy is one of a kind of residential building during his time. And then Capital Complex. Le Corbusier is the one who designed the city Chandigarh, and then he actually this is the secretariat. This is the Capital Complex of Chandigarh, and then Saint Mary is a church. It's a church which was constructed after his death. The construction was completed after his death, and these are a few of Le Corbusier's important buildings. And then this is one of my favorite architect, Santiago Calatrava, who was initially a structural engineer by profession, and later on he was so much interested in architecture. He pursued architecture, and then with this strong structural engineering backing, he constructed all these masterful pieces of architecture. Which is the first one is a railway station, and then the second one is also an entrance towards a subway railway station, and then the third one over here is a city of art and science. It's a cultural center of arts and science. And then the next architect is Zaha Hadid. She is one of an infamous female architect who is well known for his fluid forms, and whose works are like Aquatic Center, Aquatic Olympic Center, uh, London, and then this is 2022 World Cup Stadium, and then other architecture project of her as follows, like a Hydri Ali Cultural Center, and the Antwerp Port House, which is a reconstruction building, and then this particular Beijing Tower, Giza Soho, has the tallest atrium ever in the history of architecture. And then the next architect is Jack Ingalls. who who's an important architect of our times, who came to a position of a star architect in his early later 30s itself. In a very young age, he became to a standard of star architects because of his uh, uh, projects. He on sustainability of sustainability, and then is in every project will speak up towards the sustainability. And then these are a few examples of his own creation. And then if we come to national level architects, BV Doshi is one of very renowned architect of India right now. And then BV Doshi is one and only architect. Um, BV Doshi is one and only architect uh, who got the who was prestigious enough to get the Pritzker Award in 2018 for his contribution towards architecture. So a few of his projects is this Sangat building, is his own office building, and then Hussein Doshi Gufa. It's an art gallery for it's an art gallery for uh, MF Hussain. And then his well-known project is Aranya Housing, which is a low-cost architectural housing project. Um, and then if you get into down south to Tamil Nadu, Mr. Architect Murli Murugan of from Chennai is a well-known architect in Tamil Nadu, who get to design the memorial for late Chief Minister Jayalalitha. The construction process, the construction is under process. And then these are like few of he's well known for his residential buildings, and these are like a few of his projects. And then with all these to an end, we just get into like what it takes to be an architect, and how to be an architect how to be an architect. I just listed down the process of to be an architect. You should first and foremostly you should have a flair to the profession. You have to know what is architecture is on the first place, and then you have to pass your 10th and plus 2 examination with 50% of 50% as marks. And then you have to have an artistic skills and an aesthetic sense and an eye for detailing. You should be good with your hands in drawing and painting, preferably to write your Nata examination. Kirti, and then the architect of Capital Complex is Lee Corbusier. He's a French architect. He was commissioned by Jawaharlal Nehru to design Chandigarh. The overall city planning of Chandigarh is done by Lee uh, Corbusier. And then Dina Dayalan, you can ask your question at the end of Q&A session after I present. I show you to answer your questions. Uh, and then Omar Manohar, but okay. So okay. Oh yeah, I'll show the slide as well. Um, yeah, the Corbusier. I'll get to the marks what you have to obtain for your Nata examination and JE at the end of the session. And even for all these questions, all this Nata and JE related questions, I think the best people who can answer about it is even personally is Momentum Nata Coaching Center. You can call them directly and ask questions relating to it. Uh, okay, then after, so you have to obtain all these artistic and then artistic skill in forehand to attain Nata examination, because this year the Nata examination syllabus got changed, and then the maximum marks of 135 is for your drawing part A drawing, and then the remaining marks for your MCQ questions. And there is also changes in that also, where this year, only this year, it was introduced with physics chemistry max questions of 15 number of questions will be asked in physics chemistry max of your 10th and plus 2, and then later the remaining questions will be 35 questions, 35 number of questions will be asked from general aptitude. And then after practicing all these, you have to practice on Nata examination. And I suggest, rather than practicing by yourself watching videos on YouTube, I insist you to join an Nata coaching center, and then get coached and then trained by professionals over there, both personally, so that, because your Nata examination mark is so important, that to get into a reputed colleges, this Nata marks is very very important, along with your cutoff from your plus two. So you have to prepare for Nata examination, and then you have to appear, and then you have to get into counseling, and then you have to get admitted to college, and then you have to attend a BR program of 5 years. And as soon as you finish your BR program, you have to register yourself in Council of Architecture, council as an architect, registered architect, and then if you want, you can proceed with master degree programs in specialization on any courses, um, and then, or else you can even start practicing. So these are all the fundamental steps you have to follow to be an architect. And the one of the first step on along this process is Nata, which is Nata aptitude test for architecture. So by now, each and every one of you would have already enrolled for your Nata examination, or who have already prepared for your Nata examination, which was supposed to be held a month ago. But unfortunate reason of this COVID-19, I think it got postponed, and even for and even registration for your second test is also got over by 4th of this May, and that there are no information or anything related to postponing of the examination, or whether they have uh, extended applying for application for Nata is extended or not, is not still not at finalized by council yet. So what is Nata? Of course, you all know, it's an aptitude test. It's a compulsory aptitude test you have to attend to get into an BIAC program. Most of the state universities who was and then colleges affiliated to these state universities require and then consider this Nata marks along with your um, uh, cutoff marks, and a few other colleges require your JEE marks as well as your cutoff marks, and some IITs and NITs have their own entrance examination to get into their architecture program. And then it is conducted annually only twice, and then it was supposed to be like on May, like April 15th. The first session is supposed to be on April 15th, and then the second test is supposed to be on May 31. And let us be let's check with council or wait for their information. So as you know, to apply Nata, you have to have to apply in online Nata portal by visiting www.nata.in. I guess most of you know all these procedures, even the syllabus, and then even the type of question which will be asked in Nata examination. But I'm just briefing about the people who not, who don't know about it, people who are here who don't know about it yet. And then yeah, the schedule of examination is it's about it. It has a part A and part B. Part A consists of three drawing questions. The first two questions will be of marks for 35 marks, and then the third question is going to be for 55 marks. And then the later part B, as I said before, it has 15 questions. Each question will comprise of 1.5 marks. The first 15 question is going to be from physics, chemistry, maths, what you studied in your 10th and plus 2, 10th plus 1 plus 2, excuse me. And then the next 30 marks is going to be general aptitude and logical reasoning questions, which is they will be asking about 35 questions. And similarly, this also will comprises of it contains 1.5 marks, total of 75 marks. So totally 1.5 or 125 marks from part A, and then 75 marks from part B. Total of two. You will be writing your NAT examination for 200 marks. So yeah, this is the pattern of the question paper. That you have to be, so people who are not aware of change in syllabus, please do take a note of it, because in earlier mm, NATA examination, physics, chemistry, maths was not considered for MCQ questions, and also the marks for drawing test is only 75 marks. This year it is 135 marks. So so everyone, please be aware of it. So let us get in detail about this part A drawing test. Of course, you have to be skilled in perspective drawing, shade shadow drawings, and as well as 2D composition drawings. And you have to be very much familiar with color theory and then color composition, and all these are required. So it is very much good if you get into an architecture NATA coaching center and then learn more about it in detail. Uh, the classes is a 1 hour session. I think it will be over by 4 o'clock. I'll try to wind up the session by 4 itself. We're almost done. And then yeah, these are some of the works from Momentum Nata Coaching Center, the students from Momentum Nata Coaching Center, the previous batch students, some of the works. So here you can see the composition of shapes with colors, which will be asked in your first questions, and then all other basic shape composition, you can see over here. And then your second question is going to be composition of day-to-day materials, or composition of day-to-day material, what you see here. So you can see the first sketch over here is a composition of whatever material you will be having on your tabletop, like study table. And then similarly, the question will be like more specific on what are the materials and how, and then uh, what all it takes is how you position, how you organize all these objects together to bring out a good shade and shadow drawing and also the composition also really do matter. So I request you all to practice all these type of exercises and be ready for your Nata exam. Both these two. What the time duration for the paper? Yeah, the time duration is so to as you know, the part A section of the question paper is for 130 minutes, where uh, you will be writing, you will be drawing in a A4 paper, size paper, and then the later on your MCQ questions, which is going to be an online test for 45 minutes. Okay, so overallly like 135 minutes for part A and then 45 minutes for part B. Okay, most preferably from yeah, even the timings are from 10 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. The first session will be conducted, and then the second session as in will be starting by 12:30 and then will be ending by 1:15 p.m. So this is how they schedule the examination. So you saw drawings of part A and part B. In part A, the first and second questions, and question number three, which is going to be more of uh, perspective drawing questions. So you have to learn more about perspective drawings, 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point perspective drawings from professionals. Uh, so how to start preparation from class 11? Of course, you can join a Nata coaching center. There will be professional as in architects or even artists to help you out in improvising your drawing, your shading, your coloring skills. So if you give a quite good amount of 1 year of time from your 11th standard itself till you pass out 12th, you will be like very well trained. So there will be maximum chances of you to get very good marks in your Nata examination, which is very very important for you to get enrolled in good uh, colleges. The, oh, good for you. It's yeah, that's why I also insist every one of you to join Nata coaching center for your better marks, and then and these are like a few of other students' works. Uh, the the overall scene will be given on a day-to-day life. So understanding the question, you have to draw a perspective drawing, understanding the proportions of human forms, and then the environment around, uh, and then and then and then understanding the play of light, shade and shadows. Okay, but you're 13-year-old. Of course, you can start from now on. If you intended to, you are so intended to take up architecture as your career, you can start right away. You can not start. You don't have to join Nata coaching center. You can join a drawing class and then improve your skill on drawing and painting and other artistic skills. You can improve your artistic skill, which will very well help you in your Nata as well as in your architecture via program as well. So yeah, and then the part B. And the part B is the MCQ questions. As I said before, it is going to be like 15 plus 35 questions, whereas the 15 questions will be asked from physics, chemistry, maths from your 10 plus 1 plus 2, and then the later 35 questions will be asked as general aptitude and logical reasoning questions. So I believe I just covered up on a very basic information about Nata, and then the syllabus, and then the question paper, and any more details on examination or Nata coaching. You can readily contact the Momentum Nata Coaching Center. They will help you out in clarifying doubts very personally. And if now I'm open for Q&A now, so you can like if you want, you can unmute yourself and then ask question. If you have any doubts regarding architecture or architect profession. No, there won't be negative mark as in case of in NEET and all. No, you will be having or other entrance examination. You will be having negative marking. In NATA, there won't be negative marking. The MCQ questions will be like evaluated right away, and then choosing you whatever you choosing the right answers, and then the first part, the drawing questions will be evaluated very personally by professionals, whereas the marks of it cannot be uh, what given. I mean, like you can't send the paper for reevaluation or reevaluating your part A question. So that's how your part A and part B questions are already evaluated. There is no negative marks in your MCQ questions. Yeah, and then on JE main exams for artist exam. So as of now, I am not quite informative about JE examination. So I request you to contact Momentum Nata Coaching Center to know more about the JE examination, its pattern, and then its syllabus. I'm sorry, I can't answer you regarding JE because I'm not very much familiar about it. Okay, thank you. Sure. So in some of IIT have their own entrance examination which you have to attend. You can visit their website regarding their requirements on joining their architecture program. So you can also be an architect with only no, of course not. I mean, like as soon as you have to write this Nata examination uh, to get into architecture college. This mark will be uh, added with your culminative marks of your overall total marks of your plus two examination. With addition of both these marks, a cutoff mark is derived, and depending upon the present highest marks or highest cutoff mark, your position or your eligibility to choose your architecture college will differ. Yeah. So regarding your syllabus on physics and chemistry, it's all whatever you study in your 10 plus 1 and plus 2 examination. To be more specific, yeah, to be more specific on the syllabus, you can visit the NATA website. You can download a PDF which they have. In that, you will be very well you're given with more specifically on what all portions they'll be covering up on physics, chemistry, maths, MCQ questions. Yeah. No, in sense, lot of state university only consider uh, like in case of Tamil Nadu, Anna University consider only Nata marks, and then uh, uh, your total cutoff marks, your marks whatever you obtained in your 12th examination. Yeah. Scope of work of an architect, yeah, as I mentioned before, there is there's a huge course, huge opportunities. So right now, yeah, people are thinking to build, colonize even Mars and Moon. So if you are fortunate enough, if you become an architect in next 4 to 5 years, and there is a space program where you have to design building in Moon or Mars, you are the most fortunate one. So there is the architecture will always be always have scope. And in near future there are like a lot of responsible the architecture, and architects have to be a lot more responsible if you consider the situation even right now, the pandemic period, the overall cityscape and then social conduct in a building all will be like changed. So we have to reconsider everything. So there are a lot of opportunities for architecture. So basically, I want to be an interior designer, but I want to do a course before doing interior designing course. So which one would be better option? Architecture or civil engineering? Of course, architecture. So if you want to be more specific on becoming an interior designer alone, there is a 5 year program for B like B interior designing, Bachelor of Interior Designing, which is also a 5 years course. So you can opt to join that to get into interior designing. So there is a Bachelor of Science Interior Designing course. I suggest you to not prefer it. There is a Bachelor of Interior Designing course, which is also a 5 years course where you can opt to join if you're considering interior designing as your future career. Yeah. And then I got information that government colleges have less fee for pre-year, and private colleges more fees. Yeah, the fee for each and every college is differ, and then there is also a fee irrespective of quotas as well. So you will get to know all this information in your Nata website. To be more precise, is there any correspondence course for architecture? If yes, no, there is no correspondent course for architecture. You have to you have to get into architecture school, and then you have to learn, because it is a 5 year program. It's a whole experience by itself. Yeah. So the colleges differ of whatever the marks you are obtained, whatever marks you obtained in your Nata, and as well as your 11th and plus two marks. So it differs. Yeah, and there is no correspondence course for architecture. Okay. Yeah, of course, it is necessary and it is essential to be good in drawing, painting Meenakshi, because so that's why I insist you to join Nata Coaching Center, so that there will be professional to help you out in improvising your drawing skills. So you did saw your you did saw you can see the exercises what all done in Nata Coaching Center, and what are the possible questions you will be uh, joining. Whatever possible questions will be asked for Nata. I want to get into JS School of Architecture in Mumbai, so I could do for cutoff of that college. Yeah, of course. Yeah, please visit the website of the particular college. And yeah, of course, GG College is a very renowned college. I'm not quite familiar about admissions over there. I think the people from Momentum Nata Coaching Center will help you out in answering that particular question. Tamil Nadu, and it's all depend. So Kirti, it all depends upon the what marks you obtain, Kirti. So with the respect of your architecture mark, actually not a mark, the your opportunity to get into good colleges may vary, will differ uh, depending on the state. Yeah.